Hello and welcome to the Wise Woman's Journey. Today my guest is Sherry Brier. She's the founder and director of the Women Rock Project, which is the largest online video library of women's wisdom to inspire, educate and motivate women to reach their highest potential. As creator-director of the Inner Rhythm Movement Arts Institute for 30 years, Sherry's a dance instructor, choreographer, company director and concert producer. She's a #1 best-selling author of 2 books, Doorway to Ecstasy, A Dancer's Initiation, and her latest book, Daring, Dazzling, Divine, Secrets to Rock Your Life, was published in the fall of 2020. She travels around the world to learn about the cultures, dances, and lives of women around the globe. Welcome, Sherry.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Thank you so much. I'd love to explore more about your background and your books today. And if we could start maybe talking about your background, because, having read a bit of your books, I was captivated by your very fascinating journey through the world of mystical dance and the spiritual initiations that provided. And as somebody who's walked a feminine path, although a different one, of course, I was just fascinated with the insights that you provided about your journey in the book. So I'd love it if you could tell us a bit more.
Well, I've always been an artist. I made my living for quite a while as a jewelry designer and maker. And I did that for about 20 years and then overlapped that with, and as I was doing that, I was studying all forms of dance, all forms of ethnic dance, and came to a point where I was told that I should teach, and I was asked to teach. So I did about over 30 years ago, I started teaching and opened my own studio. My husband and I opened a dance studio called Inner Rhythm Movement Arts Institute in Marin County in California. And I've been teaching every day from morning to night, group classes and private classes, and Monday through Saturday, pretty much every day, and totally passionate about it and loving it.
Okay, and on your website, you talk about a mystical map for visionary travelers, which I understood is something that is revealed through the dance form that you teach.
Actually, that is, my husband teaches Tai Chi and Qigong.
All right.
And yes, and so that was a combination of our realizations and movements that we actually wrote. We wrote that book over 35 years ago. And we have never published it. It will come out soon, but we wanted to grow into our realizations and into our insights and not just put it out. So it is a form. It's a 3-part offering. It's physical. There are 12 movements. There are 12 emotional contexts. There are 12 spiritual, what would I say, talks. Yeah. So yes, and it's very beautiful, and it's a complete program for consciousness, developing one's consciousness.
Fabulous. Fabulous. And that's part of what you and your husband have been teaching?
No, actually, we have not taught it as that form. He teaches the Tai Chi and Qigong in several different forms of that. And I teach, whoop, there goes my kitty. and I've been teaching several different forms of dance over the time. But now it's just about time to put that out, the mystical map for conscious travelers, I think I called it.
Okay, well, I look forward to that, definitely. So I have a background in with Tai Chi and Qigong as well. And yeah, so I'll really look forward to sort of learning your insights with regard to that. So I think But, you mentioned being an artist. I know you say on your website you're a champion for beauty. And during the summit,
Mhm.
this interview series, we've talked about beauty in several different ways. And one of my intentions in creating this event in the first place was about providing a new narrative on aging, beauty, and contribution for women. And I think it's like beauty seems to be one of the words, at least to me, which really does need a change in the narrative.
Mhm.
And I would love to hear your thoughts on beauty and why you say you're a champion for beauty.
Well, I mean, I love I love life. I love the visual. I love to see everything. I love to feel everything. I want to do everything and be everything. But beauty, there's actually a chapter in my book about beauty, and I'm saying that I think that we women have it wrong. We have this idea of beauty, and that we're supposed to be beautiful and look beautiful, and I am saying that I think that the beauty that we make is the beauty that we should strive for. That if we should go out and make gardens, we should go out and do art, we should go out and see everything in our life as an art project, but not have that I think of, what did I say, that hard body, beautiful, thinking beautiful idea of what a woman's beauty is.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, to me, beauty is something about, we're inherently beautiful. As you say, our inherent purpose and
Mhm,
expression,
mhm.
authentic expression is inherently beautiful. And so
Yeah,
I like
that's
what you're
what
saying. Yeah.
yeah, that's what we are here for. There's the beauty and then the wisdom, and the beauty is associated with the feminine, but I think that we pretty much have gotten it wrong.
Yeah. And why do you think, could you say more about that? About
Well,
getting
we're conditioned. I mean, it's all about why. I mean, it all fits all together of why people, women especially, are not fulfilling their lives. I mean, I think most women, or not, I shouldn't say most, I say a lot of women don't have the confidence to be courageous and daring and change their lives. They don't have they just don't believe in our value. We don't believe in our value to dazzle. I'm referring to my book now, The Daring, Dazzling, and Divine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't have that belief that we are divine beings, that we can envision that anything is possible for us. So yeah, I think that we need to change our ideas of what beauty is. And where does it come from? It comes from, we're conditioned from the time that we're born.
Mm.
Uh, we're told to be what our parents want us to be. When we go out, and then we are conditioned to be what society will allow us to be. And it takes a lot. It's a long journey. First off, we spend a lot of time trying to fit in,
Mm.
and then if you get to the point where most of these women got to with the Women Rock Project and the women in my book, where they basically can't take it anymore and were unhappy in their lives, they have to turn, and they come back from that vision of who they think they're supposed to be, and that's hard work. That is hard work. You have to let go of the conditioning. You have to explore. You have to go inside. You have to find out really who you are, and that is the journey. From ancient mystical times, the uh, ancient mystery schools said that you have to know yourself. That's your first step,
Mm.
and I think most of us are very far away from knowing ourselves.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yes, exactly. And I would say this topic has come up in different ways repeatedly with the women I've talked to for the Wise Woman's Journey. And to me, that's what the Wise Woman's Journey is. It's like you don't become a wise woman just because you're a certain age. It
Absolutely.
requires the inner work.
Yeah. I think becoming a certain age often turns you toward the desire to become a real wise woman rather than just thinking, oh,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So when that desire hits, that's when a woman needs to know places that she can go
mhm,
to explore.
mhm.
And so tell us more about your daring, dazzling, divine book and the Women Rock project, because it sounds as though you've been exploring some of these areas.
Right, right. So you say that, that's when women want to know where they can go or what they can do to reawaken themselves as divine being,
Mm,
as, yeah. And that is why I created Women Rock Project. It is a video library, an online video library. There are over 500 videos on that site now, and it's all about women. Because, and I can tell you about how I came to that, but I'll tell you
yeah.
first. It's all about it's all videos and texts of women who were unhappy with their lives and who needed to change through whatever the problem was, whether it would be empty nest at a certain age, whether it be divorce, whether it be illness, whether it be depression, whatever the problem was. They realized that they couldn't live, they just couldn't take it anymore. I just can't live like this anymore, right?
Mm,
And so I was in a position like that, and which I will tell you about if you're
yeah.
interested.
Yes, we
and and I started exploring. I started reading about women who had come to that point and who had come through a process and came out on the other side happy about their lives and realized that they would go on and they were responsible for their lives. And so I did that. I started reading about them, and then I started interviewing them. And then I realized that, well, I'll tell you about this. I had a real vision, a revelation that I should put these stories on the website, because my passion has been, yes, it has been dance for all these years, but I teach, and creating beauty through dance, but I teach dance as a way to inspire women to fulfill their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
So I started putting them on these videos on this website, and it's grown and grown and grown. And my point, my passion, and my um, desire is that women, all and girls, 'cause I've just started posting some young girls. Women and girls all over the world will know that they do have a place to go to be inspired
Mm-hmm.
and educated and motivated. So that's what Women Rock Project is about.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as I said, I've been teaching dance for 30 years every day, and really never had time to publicize this project to let people really know, even though every day, every week, I would be posting new women. Um, and so when we got shut down in March, all of a sudden I have time to publicize this, to let people know. And I thought, okay, what can I do that's new and different that people might be interested in helping me publicize? So I decided to write this book, and it is Daring, Dazzling, Divine: Secrets to Rock Your Life. It stands alone completely. If you've never even seen the website, that's fine. I call it a treasure chest of women's hopes, dreams, lives, and stories. And there, several of the women who are on the website are in the book, and there are more. And it's a collection of my interviews and articles and writings, and it's so that's what I did starting in March when we got closed down. And I said, okay, I have pretty much fulfilled everything I want to do in the dance realm.
Mm-hmm.
What do I want to do? What is my passion now for the rest of my life? And it is to promote Women Rock Project. So I said, okay, I'll have time now. I'll write a book. And so I did, and that's what I did for half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I published it. And now in the last couple months, I'm starting to um, let people know through, I mean, and it's interesting, when you do the thing that you're supposed to do, uh, things come to you. It's not hard. It's the doors open, the
Mm.
universe opens. And I have, I've been doing a lot of interviews, a lot of summits. And I'm really grateful because this is what I want to do. I also have great wanderlust, and I want to travel around the world and tell people and meet women and tell people about this project and this book, and that there is hope.
Mm. It sounds like such a wonderful project, and you've gathered so many stories. And I would like to pick back up on your offer to tell your story about,
Mhm.
the transition in your life and what
Mhm.
brought you to
Yeah.
the project, because I'm sure that will be of interest and help to women listening.
Yes, thank you for asking. I I'm a dance teacher, right?
Yeah.
And a performer. And I was starting to have problems with my legs, pains in my legs. Anyway, my husband and I travel to exotic places, and I was in Jordan and Israel. And we were walking down the road next to the Mediterranean in Israel. We were walking from Old Town Jaffa down to Tel Aviv to our hotel, and I started having these terrible pains in my legs. I mean, so bad that all of a sudden, it just came all of a sudden. I could barely walk back to the hotel. And we tried to get a cab, and there was nothing. And I finally made it to the hotel, and I was really terrified. I didn't know what the problem was,
Mm.
whether I'd even be able to finish this vacation, whether I'd be able to go back and teach my classes. Anyway, I came back home, and the doctors told me that I would need 2 hip replacements. And this is not a good diagnosis for a dancer, for
Uh,
anyone, especially for a dancer and a dance teacher, and for me, because I am totally doctor phobic. And I couldn't imagine having surgery. It was not on my radar at all. And so I put it off and put it off to the point where I had to let all of my classes go except for one. I kept my advanced class and my dance company rehearsals because I could go in there with my little cane, sit on a chair, and tell them what to do because they had been with me for so long that, I'd say do this and they would do it, and I would just tap out the rhythm with my cane.
mhm.
So then, after a while, that became, realizing that, that is not sustainable. And if I wanted a life, I was going to really have to do this surgery, which I did. So I was recovering. I live in a condo looking out over San Francisco and the Richardson Bay. And I was walking back and forth, first with a walker and
Mm.
then with a cane, um, doing lots of physical therapy. And I was really terrified. I didn't know, I didn't know if I was going to be able to walk well again,
Yeah.
let alone dance.
Mm.
So I was constantly, asking the universe, asking the spirit, okay, what am I going to do? How can I continue? If I can't dance, how can I continue to inspire women? Uh, and I really had no idea, but I kept asking and asking. And then I heard someone say, the thing that I love this quote, the thing that the thing that breaks your heart the most is where your service lies.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, and immediately I knew that the thing that always brings me to my knees is the plight of women and girls around the world.
Yeah.
But I still didn't know what I could do. And so I again continue asking. And one night I have a vision. I mean, I actually had a vision. I was to create womenrockproject.com, which would be the largest online video library of women's wisdom. And of course, I've been a dancer, not a writer, not a speaker, and accepted my classes. And it was like, how do I do this? But I
Mm.
said, okay, it was a message from the universe. I said, okay. And I started, and I was reading about these women. I said, okay, how do women cope with a change in their life when they can't go back to life as they knew it? And after I was reading for a while, I said, hey, I want to interview these women.
Yes.
So yeah, so I started interviewing them, and then I was getting ready to. I was going to post these interviews. I was interviewing them on video,
Yeah.
and I had to learn how to edit because I would interview them for an hour, and then I'd have to edit it down to under 4 minutes, I felt, because we have no attention span anymore. So I wanted people to be able to, to actually see the transformation that the women went through. So I did that. I would ask them. I had a set amount of questions that would help reveal who they were, what they went through, what the obstacles were that they went through, and how they overcame it, and how they're living now. And so I did. That's what I did. And there are over 500 videos now. There may be close to 600 now, videos of women who will totally inspire you.
That's amazing. That's a vast resource. And you say they're
Yeah,
all just short, like 4 or 5 minutes long, something like
yeah,
that.
pretty much, pretty much.
Amazing.
And the lucky, you ask about me, the lucky thing is I was totally graced. I mean, I worked my butt off in physical therapy, and eventually I was able to go back in and teach my classes, and then actually dance, and then perform with my dance company this past year. So it's been grace, and I think that you have to see what's possible.
Mm,
And I saw from so many editing so many of these videos that it is possible. Yes, she did it. Oh, well, maybe I could. Well, no, she did it, and she did it. Well, yeah, I can. It's all, life is mindset.
yeah.
And if you believe that you can, you will.
Mm. I agree. It's mindset. And sometimes we need there's examples of other people who we think are not that different from us. To see
Mhm.
them achieve something and be able to do something gives us the message that that's possible for us too, doesn't it? So,
It's absolutely. I mean, you can see that right here with our politics right now in this country. So much talk about Kamala Harris being the first Black Asian woman to be in the position that she's in, and there's so
yes.
much talk about, from women about, wow, if she can do it, I can do it. And little girls, oh, she looks like me, I can do that. And so it's all coming around now. It looks kind of sketchy. Everything looks kind of sketchy right now, but I think it's going to coalesce, and life will be better.
Well, thank you for your contribution to women in terms of getting that library established, and it's still growing by the sounds and will continue to grow. So it sounds like just a fabulous resource for all of us listening to this to go and visit for inspiration, and your own inspiration as well for turning turning a life crisis around and finding new purpose in it, and actually being able to dance again.
Yeah, somebody was just saying that. I mean, I've heard it over the years, but somebody was saying it, and it kind of renewed my, yeah, that change is usually made through two things, either inspiration or desperation. And 90% of it is desperation. That point where you come to, I'm desperate. I just can't do this anymore. Whatever, wherever, why ever that point of desperation comes.
Mm.
So yes, and it's about, turning things into, negative things into positive things, because those are they really are the things that are going to lead us. You come to a crossroads, and
Mm.
it's like, okay, do I go back? Do I try and reinstate what was, or could I reinvent?
Mm. Absolutely. And actually that message is also true for all of us, maybe this year. I think things have been going on for a year now. I think many of us probably have got past the point of thinking things are going to return to so-called normal, and that there's something new coming. And many of us will have to change the way our businesses work, or other aspects of our lives in response to a changed world.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, so fascinating. And you didn't mention, we've talked about dance in general, but having read your book and looked at your website, of course, I know what types of dance that you've been involved in, and I'd love you to mention that
Mhm.
and the importance, what those sort of dance forms offer to women.
Mm. I actually came late to the dance. I was, I tell a story. I was 2.5 when my mother took me to ballet class. And after 2 classes, I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And she let me stop, which was really, when I think back, it's pretty much a tragedy because I think I could have had um, a life. Well, now I do have a lifetime in dance, but I think I could have been a star. Anyway, I didn't start formal dance training until I was in college. I always danced, for fun and play, but I started quite late. And once I started, I was totally obsessed and took every kind of dance that you can imagine, except ballet. I did, I did jazz, I did modern dance, I did every ethnic dance you can think of, and actually ended up teaching all the different ethnic dances. Uh, I, for me, dance is a great passion, and I feel that I'm not much of a proponent for like talk therapy, although everything has its value. But I think a lot of problems and confusion and all can be transformed through movement.
Mhm.
And yes, through dance and through movement. And ask me that question again.
Yes, I asked you to sort of say something about the type of dance that you did and I suppose what I was getting to was the transformation possibilities that it holds for women. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I've been blessed by things that come to me. When I started dancing, I moved to a small town in California and came upon a teacher who taught Egyptian temple dance.
Mm,
And Egyptian temple dance is the predecessor of what we in this country we call belly dance today.
right.
And it is the temple dance was the dance that the priestesses did in the temples, and it is actually you're a qigong practitioner. Um, it is the same as yoga. It's the same as the East Indian temple dances. It was used in to raise the consciousness. It was
Mm,
not a performance. It did not start off as a performance, and it was used. It's an energy dance, and I was taught that dance and belly dance at the same time because they, to see what the similarities are. And it, it's I call it this book, A Doorway to Ecstasy, A Dancer's Initiation. I call it a journey beyond the veil into an ancient mystical tradition.
mm,
And everything, it's like yoga. If you know about the energy centers in the body, it's used to open those centers. I teach it in I teach three I teach three. Okay, I teach the physical and the mental and the spiritual, and I teach the movements that I teach. The general categories of movements are the soft, slow, circular movements like Tai Chi, and we use the. What do we use those for? We use those concentrating on the different chakras. We use them to open those chakras, to gently coax open the energy center. So whatever you're moving around, whether it be, let's say, your heart center, you're moving around it slowly and with focus and with breath to open those centers, because our problems are because we crystallize in so many of our
mm,
different centers. We're crystallized in our sexual center. We're crystallized in our our will, our ability to move, to do, to create. We're crystallized in our throat chakras. And these movements are the soft, slow movements are to open those centers, to
Mm-hmm.
breathe into them, and then the second thing I do is these accent movements. And they are, you can think of them as shimmy. We do shimmies, we do like sharp accent movements that will move the energy out of those centers once they're open. And then we just breathe into and with the shimmies create more energy, generate more energy in those centers. So it's a total body. I mean, what I feel is the healers are breath and movement and focus
Mm-hmm.
in anything. You need to focus whatever it is. If it's movement, you need to focus on a particular body part. If it's whatever it is, you need to breathe into it, and then you need to move around it. Movement is life.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel that I teach the dance as a total healing practice.
Mm, fascinating. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for talking about your 2 books, Sherry. And I know you have a gift to offer to the viewers.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I do. If you go to my website, I have a couple. One is my personal website, sherrybrier.com, which will take you to womenrockproject.com, or just go directly to womenrockproject.com and there'll be an icon that says get your free gift. And it is 100 plus lifestyles that a woman can rock.
Wow.
And yes, and it's actually your own personal library. If you download it, you'll have it on your laptop or on your computer. And there are 100 different, I would say maybe there's 20 or 30 actual videos right there that you can click on, and then other stories and other women. You can talk about, you can go to different women and explore, and so that you would have that on your own personal to keep. You can go to womenrockproject.com/summit. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you for those resources. There's a fabulous offer to the women on this who are registered with this interview series, and thank you also for speaking to me. That was very interesting, very fascinating, and lovely. Great to hear about your books and the Women Rock Project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I can't wait to hear all the other recordings from the other women, because I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. That's my study. What do women do? What do women think? How do women transform? Because I think that we're going to change the world.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a great point, I think, to end on. I really think so too, and I very much hope that this project that I've offered, the Wise Woman's Journey, and all the inspiring women who have spoken through this series have given people that sort of hope and inspiration and support for those dreams to get out there and live out their purpose and be the change that they want to see in the world. Thank you,
Exactly.
Sherry.
Thank you for your work, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.